coming out. I've read A Room of One's Own, the book that we talk about in promoting this event, probably 4 times, and I think it was only the 3rd time through, only because either it's written so well or I am so dense, did I realize that it's a feminist book. She's mad at men. But she writes so well that it didn't occur to me. And I thought, okay, are you going to get up there and do some feminist diatribe or perhaps an anti-feminist diatribe? This is neither one, but it's a story that happened a few weeks ago. Joyce saw it first. We were northbound on I-85. She was looking in a rearview mirror. Joyce was driving. It makes her feel more comfortable. And she saw this truck veering back and forth across all 3 lanes of the highway. It would go to one side, stir up a bunch of dust and gravel, go to the other side and almost topple into the median, back across. All the cars were trying to get out of the way. Joyce said, "Oh God, what am I going to do when he gets up here?" Well, the trip to Greenville may have been a bad idea. Certainly it was an extravagance. We had just moved into a new apartment, 2 bedrooms. The idea was that Joyce would have a room of her own where she could paint, and I would have a room of my own where I could write. And then the month that we moved in to the apartment, I lost my day job. So we got more rent staring at us, me with no day job. Joyce says, just keep writing. Finish your book. Don't be distracted by this. Just keep writing. Well, in her book, Virginia says at one point that money dignifies what is frivolous if unpaid for. We really needed somebody to pay for and dignify our art because we were facing some pretty serious times. But not so serious that when Joyce suggested we travel to Greenville and see the Andrew Wyeth Museum and look at his paintings, I wasn't going to say no. I said, let's do it. We got credit cards. So that's how we found ourselves on the way to Greenville on I-85 with this truck, which is now at the rear bumper of our rented Toyota Corolla. Joyce is screaming, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm almost screaming, but I say, well, just get over as far as you can and just let him pass. Just let him pass. So we're sort of riding in the breakdown lane. I'm white-knuckling the door handle, and Joyce sort of leans over towards me as the truck goes swooshing past our car. And as it goes past, I see written on the side, on time. And I thought, that is not really the name of the trucking firm. That's probably the name of the essay that we are living in right now. And it refers to how little time we all have for making art or anything else. So he goes past us, and we sort of feel like, we got it made. And now we're looking at him in front of us doing the same thing, doing this veering and sort of leaning and scaring the other cars off to the side. I said, oh God, now it's going to be a pileup, and we might be in that. And Joyce said, yeah, there could be a pileup, and it could be a week before we get to Greenville, and I am hungry. So at another point in Virginia's book, she says one cannot think well, love well, sleep well, unless one has dined well. And we had done our research, and we had credit cards, and we were going to get to Greenville, and we were going to dine well after we got to the museum. Joyce said, call 911 about this person, and I'm going to pass it. I'm going to pass it. I said, okay, my knuckles got whiter on the door handle, and I'm dialing 911 with the other and describing to the dispatcher what the truck looks like. Joyce waits for her moment, zooms past the truck. If I ever have enough money for a car again, I'm going to get a Toyota Corolla. So we got to the museum, wandering around looking at Andrew Wyeth's paintings, which are amazing, even to me, someone who doesn't know that much about painting. Joyce is leaning in and studying the layers of the paints. I'm thinking about Virginia Woolf because I'm thinking about Virginia Woolf a lot, trying to put a story together for this event. And at one point she says that the artist's mind should have no obstacles. It should have no foreign matter, she says. It should be incandescent. That's what these paintings are, they're incandescent. So after we got done at the museum, we thought, how can we spend some more money? So we rented bikes. And Greenville is built on a really beautiful little river. There's a path that goes kind of around the river and through the city. We're on our bikes, Joyce is in front of me doing crazy figure eights in front of me, so I can't pass, can't catch up with her. She says, "Hey, who am I? Who am I?" And I'm trying to have fun. You know, I'm telling myself, this is vacation, have fun. But I can't stop thinking about when we'll be homeless exactly. So, then the other thing I was doing is watching just the back of her as she was doing these figure eights and thinking once again about Virginia Woolf. And how she says, one of the strangest things in the book that she says is that every person has at the back of their head a spot that they can't see. And it's about the size of a shilling. And she says one of the favors the sexes can do for each other is to describe that spot. And I've puzzled over that quite a bit. I don't think she's talking literally about that, but it was one of the most beautiful passages in the book. When that book was published in, I think it was 1929, it became a huge sensation in London where it came out. And in the U.S., people were, on Wall Street anyway, jumping out of windows. Investors were losing all of their money in the stock market crash. Our new apartment is on the 5th floor. Virginia was doing all right for herself, though. She famously said, what a woman needs is 500 pounds a year and a room of her own. And she said 500 pounds because her Aunt Mary had left her that much per year as an inheritance when Mary died. So Virginia was doing fairly well financially. So in 1941, when she put on her overcoat and stuffed the pockets with rocks and wandered into the River Ouse near her home, she must have had something other than not having enough money on her mind. She left a note for Leonard, who was devastated, who, by the way, was wisely blamed, as probably many of you know, for her death, for not taking good enough care of her while she was afflicted. In the note, she says that she's afraid she's going mad again. She probably was. She's hearing voices. And she said, this is to say that you've given me all of the happiness I've had in my life. So we get home, and when we get home, there's a moment at which I'm at the kitchen table with my head in my hands, having realized that when the woman at the bike rental place made a copy of my credit card, made a copy of my driver's license, she didn't give me the credit card back. So I said to Joyce, who was behind me, I said, it's probably just as well, because very soon I won't be able to afford payments on this credit card. And Joyce was cleaning her brushes. It makes that little squeak noise. She had the rag, and she was just cleaning off her brushes. And she said, keep writing. Just keep writing. Finish your book. And then I think for the first time ever, I started to understand that part of Virginia's book that puzzled me for so long. Because I could feel where Joyce was looking. She was staring right at the back of my head at that spot about the size of a shilling. Thanks.
It's a hell of a story, but I don't think I need to. Following that, to the audience, do you remember the little note, the little warning I gave you ahead of time to expect possible adult language, possible